Welcome back. Before the break, we asked you to name the player who broke Mark Gastineau's single-season sack record in 2001. The answer? Michael Strahan of the New York Giants. Now Mike will talk to you about our second story, sophomore slumps in the NFL.
Through the first 5 weeks of the NFL season, we have seen quarterbacks get off to hot starts. We've also seen some quarterbacks really struggle right out of the gate. One of those QBs may not so surprisingly is Cam Newton of the Carolina Panthers. Newton, selected by the Panthers with the first overall pick in last year's NFL draft, came into the league with a lot of questions about his performance, and he answered all of them his rookie year. He shattered many rookie passing records and was given the coveted Rookie of the Year award. With expectations high this year, Newton has fizzled under the pressure. At one point last week, he completed 3 passes out of 16 attempts. His Panthers are just 1-4, and there are many questions about his maturity level during games. There is still plenty of time to turn his team around, but Newton has to start playing better for that to happen. So now I ask, is this just a slump Newton is in, or is this a sign for things to come? Joe?
Well, I think that what the NFL all boils down to this day and age is wins. And when you look at what Cam Newton has done this year, it's kind of in line with what he did last year. So in those terms, no, he's not really going through a sophomore slump because he never had anything to slump down from. Stats-wise, yes, Cam Newton is definitely struggling in especially the passing end of things. But when you look at the Panthers team, they're so heavily built around Cam Newton. They have basically no running game outside of him. D'Angelo Williams has been, with the exception of a game or two this year, has been awful. Jonathan Stewart is almost non-existent at this point. Everything just goes through Cam Newton. He has to be so spectacular to lead this team to the playoffs even, that I think it's way too much pressure on him right now. They need to build a team around him before you start saying that he's in a sophomore slump. It's very hard for him to do the things that they're expecting out of him.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, Cam Newton, I looked at his numbers earlier. He's really on pace from what he did last year. I think just the thing is everyone's taken notice because of his expectations. I mean, everyone's expecting him to take that next giant leap and becoming like almost a superstar in the NFL, and he just hasn't done that yet. And I think another key is just the fact that his Panthers are 1-4. I mean, he just has not been able to get the big win when he has, when the opportunity is there for him. I mean, he's really struggled in that part in his game, and his maturity level really is questioned. I mean, you can just see him on the sideline moping all the time. I mean, he's got to take that next step in his maturity. I mean, he's got to man up almost.
I think that you always hear the term the phrase sophomore slump thrown around, and I think it's unfairly thrown around to a certain extent. The reason why you hear it thrown around so much is because when you look at guys like Cam Newton, who had an unbelievable rookie year, everyone expects them to take even a higher step, a next step. And I feel like that sometimes that is very unfairly imposed upon a player, because when you look at his numbers from last year, how do you expect a guy that really the team did not get any better around him? Who's to say that he should be taking another step right now? They need to build the team up around him first before everyone starts giving him these expectations that are being placed upon him, in my view, very unfairly, especially because you look at, like I said, his running backs, his defense is not that great. His receivers, they didn't improve his receiving at all. Steve Smith's having a worse year than he was last year. So I just think the whole package is that Cam Newton had such a great rookie year that anything he did this year that is even equal to what he did last year would have been considered a disappointment, especially because his record's 1-4 right now.
Yeah, I mean, plus, you look around the NFL, it's really turned into such a passing league. I mean, everyone's expecting the quarterback to, lead their team to the big win or lead their team to the Super Bowl by themselves. I mean, everyone looks at Tom Brady and the Peyton Mannings and the Eli Mannings. I mean, they can do it on their own almost. But the NFL, they're teams. It's not just one guy who can. Cam Newton can't do it alone. I mean, like you said, he needs to help around him. He just doesn't have it. I mean, what do you want him to do? I mean, he can't run the offense by himself.
Exactly, and we hope to see that Carolina improves the team around him. We'll be right back right after this.